Maura and Richard have entered the camp and they are loving life. How long is that going to last? I'm a Celebrity, episode 5, and once again, Dean is doing the bush tucker trial. This poor man is being tortured. So he had to put his head into these boxes and they dropped different things in, and he had to get the stars. Now, Ant has 100% either had enough of presenting this show or he just can't stand him. Because as I mentioned the other night, I seen a short clip of the after show and he was saying that he was getting annoyed because they weren't really trying. And in this episode, when he was saying that he didn't want to know what was in there, you could see that he was getting frustrated with him. Dean went in saying that he was aiming for 1 star and he managed to get 4. But it was just so unfortunate that he said, "I'm a celebrity, get me out of here," over fish guts. Of all the things, I mean, he had spiders crawling all over his head and he came out because of fish guts. But nevertheless, 4 stars is better than nothing. Colin was talking about Wayne and their relationship again, and there's something about these shows, but it seems as if the producers just zone in on certain people and just show their stories about their life. Maybe their stories are just more interesting, but I feel as if there's a lot of people in the camp who we haven't really heard from. At this point, I kind of feel like Alan and Otie haven't really had a lot of camera time. But again, maybe they just haven't been telling any interesting stories. But Colin was talking about Wayne and how they met when they were young and how he just wanted to be a footballer and he didn't like the fame and how he's so sweet because he writes their poems and all that. And I try not to be judgmental and I say it all the time. But obviously she's like, he's made mistakes and the public wouldn't let it go and stuff like that. And GK was like, oh, he's so sweet because he writes their poems. And I'm going to be honest, all I was thinking was, I think it's sweet when your husband doesn't cheat on you. However, she's forgave him, and that's all that matters. Just in my personal opinion, cheating on somebody's one thing, but cheating on somebody that you're married to, it should literally be a crime. It should be punishable by death. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but that's just how I feel. But the main thing is, she seems happy. She's obviously totally in love with him. She's like, we're a team and all that, right? So, like, she's happy. Good for her. This is just another episode that's went past where I've thought, everybody in that camp is just such nice people. I mean, I'm not even watching it thinking I want drama or anything. I'm just thinking they have really picked a group of, like, genuinely nice people. See, as soon as somebody snaps in there or as soon as there's an argument, I'll be shocked. Maura and Richard entered the other camp, was it called the dumping ground? And they had a bathtub, they had a bed, like they were living the life of luxury. And they had to convince the other campmates that they were miserable and that they had nothing. And they had to ask them for a bed. And it was so nice of them. They were just like, oh, I'll give up my bed. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're just all so nice. When Maura was told that she had to lie to the other campmates and deceive them, she was all over it. She's like, I'm a good liar. Watch this space. When Maura was on Love Island, I wasn't her biggest fan, but it's not as if I didn't like her as a person. But on this show, I think that she's being funny now. I think that she might be the first one to snap. Melvin came in to do a task, and bless him, he was getting covered in absolutely everything, and they two had to go above and pretend that they were getting stuff dumped on them, and he was believing them and he's giving them words of encouragement, and they're sitting there drinking their tea or whatever, and I'm like that, oh my god, that's an actual shame. He's given it his all. He won cupcakes for the camp, and he should have won 10, but they were only given 5. Now, I don't know if you've ever watched any of my Big Brother videos, but I am so against breaking the rules on reality TV, because you go in there, you sign a contract, and you know what you're getting into. So then when you break the rules, it just really annoys me. Now, in real life, I'm not about following the rules. I'm all about following, like, health and safety. I'm quite strict with health and safety and, like, legal legislations and all that in work. But following rules, not so much. But when it comes to reality TV, you fucking bet I'll be following it by the letter. As we found out at the start, Dean snuck tea bags in. And I just can't fathom why he done that, because he's been on Late and Live so many times. Or he's been on Late and Live so many times. And anytime rules are broke, they're always like, oh, Big Brother sees everything. Do they think that I'm a Celebrity doesn't see everything? Maybe they don't have as many cameras, or maybe the cameras just aren't as obvious. But they should know that they see everything. Maybe they've just not watched the show before, but I would think it was obvious. They were told to take back the contraband and hand it in, and I was like, okay, it's only tea bags. It's not really the end of the world. But then Talisa said that somebody gave her salt and she put it in her bag and didn't use it, and I was like, oh my god, there's more. What else is in there? Even though I can be harsh when it comes to the rules, I genuinely think that they should be given salt, because I eat so much salt on a daily basis. Like, if I don't eat salt in a whole day, I get really severe cramp. Like, it's no joke, because I eat so much salt. But even just the tiniest wee bit of salt wouldn't hurt, you know. I still wouldn't sneak it in though. Well, the campmates are getting their 4 stars worth of food. Maura and Richard are living their best lives. They've got steaks and everything, and she's going into a food coma because she's so full. Ant and Dick came into the camp to tell him who was doing the bush tucker trial, and I thought, please don't be Dean, because that guy is suffering, and it's not even in a funny way. Like, when GK was doing it at the start, it was funny because she was like screaming and that. Now, that wouldn't be funny if I was in her shoes, but it's just more amusing to watch, whereas Dean is literally just terrified out his wits, and it's not fun to watch. So the public ended up voting for Dean and Danny. Now, what I'm a bit confused about, I don't vote for this show, but let me know if you voted who you wanted to do the bush tucker trials. But are people voting for Danny because they think he's going to do a good job, or are they voting for him because they don't like him? Because that's usually why they choose people. I hope it's because they think he's going to do a good job, and also he comes across as if he actually wants to get involved in the trials. Let me know what you thought of tonight's episode, and also, do you think that Ant is just so over presenting this show, or do you think he just doesn't like Dean, or do you think he's just doing his nutting because he's not really doing a good job? It's hard to tell, but it literally seems as if he's raging at him. Imagine he was in the camp, he'd be going off his nut. Anyway, I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye!